Hello. It has recently been brought to my attention that many of you are having a mental health crisis due to the fact that some statement has come out and it is saying that someone else was holding a gun. Here's the way the law works. In a court of law, there was no one who was willing to get on the stand in the only time that it mattered. In the court of law, not the court of public opinion, no one was willing to get on the stand and swear under oath two things. One, Tory did not shoot Meg. Two, this is the name of the person who did shoot Meg. And when I say nobody, I mean not even Tory himself proclaimed his innocence in the place where it counted. So it's peculiar to me that you all continue to do it. However, more than one person was willing to get on a stand and say that Tory did shoot Meg. That is it. That is all. Until and unless a retrial is granted and new evidence is discovered and someone is willing to get on the stand and say, once again, because you all still seem to be confused. One, Tory did not shoot Meg. And two, this is who did shoot Meg. We need these statements from an eyewitness in order for your surrogate father to get out of jail. Now, me referring to him as a surrogate father to you all may be a bit confusing, so I will expound upon that a bit. I can only fathom that the reason why so many of you identify with disturbers, degenerates, men who abuse women, men who are accused of the same type of crime repeatedly. The men like Tory Lanez and Chris Brown and R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, people who are windmilling in the social media streets to defend these types of men. I think that you must view them as some sort of surrogate fathers because either your father was an irresponsible degenerate or perhaps you are one, or maybe you're dating one. I cannot fathom, though, why anybody would pedestalize men like that instead of men like this, family men. Riddle me this. Why is it that men who actually value education, marriage, being a protector, a provider, men who are out here creating wives and families versus just creating baby mamas and bastards, why is this not hashtag goals or the golden standard in this community? Don't you think that's odd? When was the last time we had to march and protest for and defend a family man? Someone who is married, educated, living in the same household with his children, gainfully employed. When was the last time we had to march and protest and defend and do GoFundMes for Black family men? I'm sure if you stretch your brain, you can find some examples. But also, if we're being honest, it is a whole lot less likely, right? The Black community is not a monolith. You have Black people, and on the other end of that spectrum, you have these ninjas. And I just simply don't understand your mentality. I firmly believe that even if I did not come from the suburbs in a two-parent household, even if I weren't a homeowner in a gated community, I would still have enough common sense to look at men like this and see them as a better option than people who abuse and violate women. So if you're the type of person who feels an uncontrollable urge to defend degenerates, more than likely you're suffering from bastard brain. Whereas we can all agree that people who had a better start in life or a better upbringing, better socioeconomic status, all of these other things, of course, is going to play a factor in how you turn out and what you believe and what you do. I definitely understand advantage versus disadvantage backgrounds and how that factors in. However, the reason why you all gravitate towards, defend, and amplify the voices and actions of men who are degenerates is probably because you are suffering from bastard brain. Maybe your father wasn't there and he was a degenerate. And thus, you feel that if you can just help vindicate or redeem these types of negative examples of black manhood, that it'll somehow work in a role reversal time machine sort of way to vindicate your own father. And I don't know, what are you going to do? Go back to your childhood? No, you can't do that. The past has passed. So there are too many of you that are 20 and older who are still standing on the proverbial porch or stoop with your little backpacks on, holding a lukewarm Capri Sun, waiting on a distant daddy in a car that never came. It never will. And let's just go ahead and clear up the next thing. It's not your fault, nor is it the fault of your mom or the rest of your family members or anybody else that just took up the mantle of responsibility and took on the role of actually raising you and being present in your life. It's not the fault of the people who were responsible enough to invest in you when they had no guarantee of the return on this investment. So unless somebody can prove to you that they went to this process and they weren't a danger to themselves or to others, they're not criminals, they have a place to stay, they're gainfully employed, and still the court system denied them access to their children, let's stop with the bitter baby mama trope. And the long and the short of it is, you just weren't important enough to your deadbeat dad. Everybody got choices, and he didn't choose you. Whether he chose drugs over you or chose crime over you, as a result, prison or death was chosen. The point is, he didn't raise you and he wasn't there because he didn't love you enough. You weren't important enough. That's on him. There are plenty of black men who did not grow up with their fathers, and instead of using that as an excuse, oh, I ain't had no daddy, so I don't know how to be a daddy. What they'll do is make it their life's purpose to be an excellent father, because what they did get from that situation was an example of what not to do. Everybody has choices, and you, my dear, can make the choice to stop being a degenerate, supporting degenerates, defending degenerates, and get off that porch. You're grown now. Your daddy ain't coming, and it ain't your fault. No matter how you defend and vindicate these men, nothing is going to turn back the hands of time or make your daddy love you. You don't have to continue to suffer from bastard brain. You can just go get some therapy. And another thing that we need to do is to amplify the right voices. If you can listen to content like this and you're still not moved to hit follow or subscribe or share or comment or like and do all of these things in the way of absolute free support that takes a matter of seconds and amplifies the right type of message and better voices and better examples, then you too, my dear, are probably suffering from bastard brain.